You're now tapped in the Still Not Successful podcast, the offseason with Brian and Power. Share, comment, like, subscribe. Still Not Successful talk show and podcast. This episode it's heartfelt for me. It's deep for me. It's real for me. And I don't even think my brother know why it's so real. My new guest, the guest for this episode. I don't think he know why it's so real for me, but he will know throughout this episode. But first, before I get to that point, for my guest, Tony Kemp, Mr. Cool Motivation, Mr. Man of his community. Before we get to that, I want to speak on you all out there that are striving to do what you need to do to improve the community, your kids at home, whether it's just your biological kids, your step kids, your kids' friends, your coaches, if you're a coach, you're a mentor, whatever you are out there trying to strive to better your community, we salute you. We know it's a tough uphill battle. We absolutely know that. And throughout this show, I hope that you get the motivation and empowerment that you need to be able to be self-empowered and persevere, as you know, through your individual journey towards your individual success. So before we get into it, I just want to say, my brother, Tony Kemp, before you share who you are, matter of fact, go ahead, share who you are, my brother. Just give everybody who is Tony Kemp.
What's going on, world? First of all, I want to give a big shout out to my guy right here. Been a mentor to me for a long time, man. And shout out to the people, if you out there, spreading love, spreading positivity, man, because that's what it's all about. I think this world needs more of that. And with that being said, man, it's Tony Kemp, Mr. Cool Motivation. And all I'm out here trying to do, man, is basically just get the community to spread more love, spread more positivity, because that's what we need out here. That's what we need more of, man. And, I think our communities are growing, it's flourishing, and I'm just excited to be here, a part of this, this beautiful podcast, man. And, man, let's get it.
Let's go. You ready? Let's get into it. All right, so before we get into it, first I want to say, man, the black men, you and I, we do it all of the time, but not a black men experience it enough, and I think we need to be empowered to do so, and that is this. Right. Man, I love you, bro.
Man, I love you too.
My God. Man, listen, you're a Atlanta native. Mm-hmm. You're from here. Right. And a lot of people that I actually say I love you to was people who I've been through things with from my hometown, through my college, through those years that, made you an adult. Right. It's very rare when you get in your 30s and you find some new individual that into your life, you like, yo, I love you. Right. Bro, I love you. Man, I love you. You feel what I'm saying? I love you, bro.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
Being a mentor to you did a lot for me. You empowered me a lot. We done talked about me doing a podcast, a talk show, my own consulting company for 5-6 years. You feel what I'm saying? And every time I talk to you about it, man, it seemed like nobody truly understood.
I seen it long time ago.
But you.
Long time ago, man.
I'm like, my mentee see more of me than me right now. You feel what I'm saying? But I'm going through my challenges, and I talk about that in my individual episode. But today is about you, brother. So let's get to the beginning of your journey, and we're going to talk about you being in the community and you really empowering youth the way you did. I know you empower. I've seen, you feel what I'm saying? When it was time for you to leave the organization we was with, I seen like the tears in those teenagers' eyes.
It meant a lot.
So let's talk about your journey and how it started in the realm of being active in your community.
Oh, man, from the first standpoint, man, I remember, I can recollect, I remember I was about to graduate from Kennesaw State. Shout out to all the Kennesaw State alum, out there, alumni, I was about to graduate, and, I think I had to do an internship to graduate. So, I'm like, internship. Man, I just want to leave. I just want to get out of here. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a 7-year run for me. So
7 years in college.
7 years, man.
7 years in college.
7 years. 7 years. 7 years. So before that, I wasn't even able to get in none of the colleges that I was trying to go to. Right. So I had gave up on college, you know. But my aunt, you know, shout out to my aunt, Auntie Eunice, man. She found a school for me, 2-year school. You know, but I still didn't. I wasn't on the college level, right? So you know they had the remedial classes. Had to take the remedial classes, man. But those remedial classes really helped me get to where I need to be, as far as math, writing, etc. Man. So that really propelled me. But it took me 4 years to graduate from there. Got my associates in sociology. Then I went to Kennesaw. So you know I think I spent about 2.5 years there, and she was like, you know, hey, what you trying to do? You know, this real, like it's over now. Like you gotta stop playing. So I was like, man, when I thought about it, when she said that, she put me on the spot for one. So I had to think on the fly. But when I was asking myself, I said, I really don't want to work for nobody. That was the first thing I said. I really don't want to work for nobody. And I said, if I do work for anybody, I want to work for the kids. I want to do it with the youth. That's the only job that I can see myself doing day in, day out, you know, because that's what I love, you know. And I had that, you know, kind of growing up, you know, being in sports, you know, being around, you know, male figures, you know, things of that nature. And I always wanted to give back, man. You know, I just love the kids, man, love the youth, you know. The purest people in the world, man. You know what I'm saying? They the realest. You know? I mean, you know, there's a lot of real people out here, but the kids, man, they the realest, man. They the realest. And you learn a lot from the kids. You learn a lot about yourself from the kids. So, but yeah, that's what I wanted to do. And she pointed me in the direction to you. So, and that's how we got connected. You know, and then, you know, I really started to see, you know, okay, this can be something. You know, how can I, you know, take this to another level? But it took some time, right? Because at that time I still didn't know. I'm just going through the motions. I'm just going through life. You know, I still don't have it figured out at all. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get out of school. Right. You know, I was just trying to get out of school. But then when I got there, you know, to the organization that we was at, I fell in love with it, man. I fell in love with, you know, just being around the youth, helping them, and just putting them in the best position to succeed in life. I think that's something that, you know, we missing. You know, we don't pay enough attention to the youth and raising them like they should be. I think, you know, when we was coming up, you know, our people had a hand on us. You know, now I don't know if it's a lot of that, you know, like, you know, being with your grandmothers, your uncles. I mean, they putting you up under their wing. You know, they showing you, hey, this is what you got to do, cutting the grass, etc., etc. You know what I mean? Changing the tire. You feel me? Like all those things you need to do to be successful out here, or you know, to stay afloat out here, so to speak. And you know, that just showed me, okay, this is what it's all about. And I seen a missing link in society. Right, and I found, you know, what I love to do. You know, it wasn't never work to me. It was love. You know, it was all love. You know what I mean?
So you experienced a challenge throughout the career of working with youth for organizations. Talk about those challenges, and we'll go from there.
Okay, I would say the biggest challenge was sitting in as you rise up and get the promotions and things of that nature. Now you start to sit in the same room as the people who make the decisions. And just being in those rooms, man, I just didn't like what I was hearing, you know, because it started getting away from the kids. It was all about the business. It was never about the kids. It's all about the business. And then on top of that, man, it was so much corruption, man. It's real corrupt, you know, and I just didn't want to be a part of that. You know, I just didn't want to be a part of that. So I knew, like, right then and there, when I was able to get in those rooms and see how everything moves, I was like, yeah, this not for me. I gotta figure this thing out on how I can make things work myself, right? And that's what it was, man. And I remember getting fired too,
Mm-hmm. Before we go there,
okay.
Before we go there,
okay.
Before we go there, we're gonna talk about a journey before, because there are a lot of it's a lot of us out there, right? It's a lot of us out there,
right,
whether they just come in from college or leaving a new job, or COVID hit, or a situation, now they're out job hunting again. My brother, I remember you were working with me in the organization, but you were also working a complete other job, no car. You was bussing it, you were transing it, you were training it, you were doing everything you needed to do to get to where you needed to be with a college degree.
With a college degree.
With a college degree.
Yeah.
So explain your purpose and your reasoning behind the background of that hustle to strive to do what you needed to do for yourself.
I think, man, that's a great question, by the way. I think it really taught me, what it takes to really be successful out here. You're gonna have to go through those motions to where you gotta bust it. You might have to bust it. I wasn't fortunate enough to be in a family where, my mom can buy me a nice car, dad can buy me a nice car, shoes. So, when I was doing the internship, man, people didn't know, man. I was riding the bus 3 hours every day, just to go to class, and 3 hours to get back, back home. I couldn't pay for, room and board, so it's every day. I'm spending at least 6 hours on the bus. At least 6 hours on the bus. And I did that. And on top of that, I was working 7 days a week.
How did you keep the positive energy through all of that?
It's just me, man. It's just me. I always been a guy to not put my problems on other people. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't have anything to do with them. And it's not going to help anything anyway. So, let's just continue to, be positive, man. Because once you get into that negative standpoint, only negative, you only get negative out of that, right? So why even be in that kind of mind frame and change that and go through the motions, embrace the struggle. From that time, I was able to embrace the struggle. I told myself, look, embrace the struggle. Learn everything that you need to learn, because, the higher power knows, hey, you need to go through these things, right? Right? You need to go through these lessons to be successful. If you don't go through these things, right, you're going to be doing yourself a disservice. And I knew every single day, every single time I felt like, man, I wanted to give up, quit, forget school, forget the kids. I'm just going to focus on me, right? I knew it was a bigger purpose, right? Because I remember one instance in particular, man, it's stuff like it hits you once you just really like step back and just look at things. You was like, hey, I need you to run the basketball team. I don't know if I'm ready for that. You was like, nah, I got other stuff to do. I got other stuff to do. You my guy. You ready? I already know you ready. So, I was like, all right, he sees something. So we're going to go through it. We're going to embrace it. And that birthed, another side of me, right? That right there birthed another side. That right there, that instance right there, when you put me in the fire, that birthed that birthed the vision. That birthed what we have now. Hustle Up Athletics. That moment right there birthed that side of my, where I'm at as far as entrepreneurship. And so if I never would have took that chance and took that leap and believed in, what you saw a long time ago, then this would have never happened. That part of what I do would never blossom into what it is now. Right? So man, you gotta embrace the struggle. I think that's the key. Embracing the struggle. Loving that struggle, because it's going to help you in the end. It's going to propel you in the end. If you continue to stay positive and know that you're gonna raise that bar, you're gonna get to where you want to go, you're gonna figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, life got a beautiful way of, you know, molding you into your purpose.
Right. So before, and I'm gonna say this again, before we get to this point of being fired, I have to be able to say, my brother, man, it was times where I walk in this organization.
Mm-hmm.
The only person I'm counting on for positivity is my brother Tony.
Mm-hmm.
When Tony walk in the door, I know he gonna bring positivity 24/7. I never seen you, I promise to God, never seen any of your struggles show in front of me until we had deeper intellectual conversations outside.
Right.
But in the field, my brother, your positive energy was crazy. I don't see how any organization was able to let you go. It was to the point where you celebrated. You celebrated your graduation. You celebrated your graduation. Yeah. Now it's legal now. So you smoked a little weed. You playing basketball with the kids. You jammed your finger up and had to go to the hospital and they drug tested you. Man. And I got the call from HR and they said, you got to let Tony go. This ain't the fire conversation. This is a whole different conversation. Right? You got to let Tony go. That's the first time I dropped a tear over a grown man. I seen my teens start crying. I dropped the tear. I left the whole building, took you to the other organization, like, hire my guy. I'm like, hire my guy, man. Like hire my guy, yo. Right. So I wanted to say that when you get to this point where you started to elevate in this new organization and you were at a fork. Prior to the firing, you were at a fork where you knew what you needed to do with the business that we're about to talk about. Right. And then where you were at in this organization. And you made a decision on what side you chose before you got to that fork. So what did that process look like for you?
It was like, I'm gonna say this, man. When I, as going through the struggle, you learn a lot about yourself, right? You learn a lot about yourself, and it just taught me who I was, you know, the great things that I possessed as an individual, and how could I capitalize on that, right? Or not even capitalize, but how can I help, you know, the world, you know, how could I spread a positive message, right? Taking who I am as a person and how could I, you know, give that back into the world and, you know, and still be able to live, right? Still be able to live. We all got to live. So that was my thought process behind it. And, you know, man, shoot, I was working and, you know, people was starting to ask me, hey, could you work out my kid? Right? Could you do this?
Before, let's speak, what's the business?
Okay.
Because the listeners got to understand where you're going. What you're saying. Okay. What's the business?
So the business is Hustle Up Athletics. You know, where we train young kids in skill development in the realm of basketball. So we focus on the fundamentals, man. I really believe in, you know, teaching the young ones, you know, early, you know, but in a fun way, keeping it fun for them, and just teaching the real fundamentals and growing with them, and you know, learning who they are as an individual. As a person, I think it goes way further and beyond with just basketball, right? Because basketball is my tool, right, to be able to connect with them. So now I just use basketball as a filler to actually mold them and help them be the best person, best individual that they can be and be able to succeed out here.
How do you do that?
So how I do that, man, you know, okay, this is what you like to do, right? You like to play basketball. Okay, now the game of basketball is just like the game of life, you know? So if you put the game of basketball in the perspective of life, you know, there's teachable moments, right? Well, okay, well, you want to give up right now. Hey, man, when you get out here in this world, it's going to be times where you want to give up, but you got a family. Right? You got kids that need to be fed. What you gonna do? You just gonna ball up and say I quit? You just gonna give up? Nah, that ain't what this is. No, you can't. You started something. You gonna get better at it. You gonna keep working towards, what you want to do, right? And you gonna strive to be the best that you can be, right? And you gonna reach those goals. And you use, right, whatever y'all doing, right, and teach and use those teachable moments to help them be successful outside of just the game of basketball or whatever you got going. You know what I'm saying? And that's the key to, especially to grab the youth. You got to be able to connect with them on a level to where, okay, all right, you see what they good at. All right, cool. I may know something about this, or I may know the people, right, who know a lot about this. If a kid know how to play the piano, all right, I know the person exactly for this, right? But using that piano, right, to help them be successful individuals, that's the key.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. So you gotta look beyond just the aspect of making a paycheck, man. Especially when you're dealing with the youth. You gotta cultivate them because it's a lot of things that can mold them into people that not conducive to being a pillar in this society, right? From the phones to the computer, to the internet, the streets, exactly. They can raise your kids,
right?
They can raise you, and you see what they get you, right? It ain't too many ways.
Do you feel appreciated for what you do by the community?
I never really looked for appreciation because it never was about that. I really don't even care about that, man. I'm just doing what I love to do, right? And it's fulfilling for me, So whatever comes out of that, then that's what comes out of it. But I believe in what I'm doing, right? Because I know what's the bigger picture, right, behind what I'm doing. So like I said, I'm just using basketball as a vessel, right, to help cultivate these young men and women, right, that come, within my circumference, right? And the parents that believe in me, they understand that.
And you're also the CEO of Cool Motivation. What is that?
Oh man, that's my clothing line. So as you can see, we rocking our one of our first official jerseys. But basically, it's a urban street brand where we focusing on spreading the positive message. So everything that you see is gonna be something positive, something to motivate you to go be the best you, right? Spreading love, spreading positivity. Like I said, because that's what we need. That's what I see, right? That this world need, man. We need a lot. We need more positivity. We need more love, in the aspect of I see you. Keep grinding, keep hustling, stay focused. I see what you're doing. You keep going. This is how you do it, right? In your own way of showing love. This is just my way of showing love and giving back to the world, right, in a positive way. So and just shedding the light. And I love clothing. It's something that I always wanted to do. I just didn't know how I was gonna, bring it, to the light, and it just birthed itself, man.
So with all this passion, all this greatness, all this purpose-driven spirit that you have,
right?
You walk in the office, the supervisor behind the desk,
right,
have a small conversation with you, and at the end of that conversation is basically letting you know that you're fired. Where are you at now?
I think this was the second time around, right? This is second fire. This is second one, right? So, but at this point in my life, I'm thinking totally different. I'm thinking different now. And
did it hurt?
Oh yeah, it hurt. It hurt. It did hurt, but at the same time, I was prepared to leave.
Talk about
I was prepared to leave. I was ready, right? I didn't know how to make that move, right? I don't think I had built the courage to say, I'm finna put this 2-week notice in, it's time, right? Matter of fact, I just had got a raise. Probably the most money I've been making since I've been working for any company, right? So I really didn't want to. I was like, man, you can stack it up real quick, then cool. So I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I knew the universe was trying to tell me, like, hey, it's time to get on your grind. It's time to bet on yourself. It's time to fully bet on yourself. Fully bet on yourself. It may seem like this the bad. It's bad right now. It may hurt, whatever the case may be. But now you gotta wipe them tears, right? Look in the mirror and get on your grind because it's time. Like I said, I didn't want to do it. The universe did it for me, right?
It put you in the fire.
It put me back in the fire, right? And I seen what that birthed the first time, right? So I said, oh, it's here we go again.
When you say bet on yourself, elaborate more because my viewers, they're in their jobs.
Right.
Like
shout out
right. My target audience are people going through it.
Yeah.
That want to persevere, that want to be self-empowered, that want to strive and succeed.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So we hear bet on yourself.
Right.
But we don't hear what that means, what it looks like to bet on yourself. Because betting on myself could just mean going to work so I can make sure these bills are paid. But when we say bet on yourself, what do you mean by bet on yourself?
I think the first thing is knowing yourself, knowing who you are. Because that's the only way you can know, what you really want to do, right? What's your passions? What are you good at? What do you love doing? Asking yourself, okay, what is something that I can do day in, day out, right? Well, it's not work to me, right? But I'm still making residual income. I can do this all day, every single day, right? And once you figure that out, now you ask yourself, okay, how can I make residual income? How can I turn this into, a business, right? Okay, now let's figure out the goals, right, to get to that point, and we can actually really say, all right, this is what I'm doing, right? And a lot of times too, just a side note, we don't actually know, alternate routes of how to make residual income, and it's a lot of ways out here to make money without a 9-to-5, right? And learning those skills, we talking about from, investing in stocks, cryptocurrency, the list goes on, digital real estate, shout out to the brother being next, 19 Keys, man, Chris Cole, those type of things where now we can build generational wealth. Now I done did the 9-to-5, right? And for a good time, and I was loyal, right? I didn't quit. Neither one of those jobs I did not quit. I didn't quit. I got fired, right? So I knew that it was something there. And if I didn't recognize it, guess what was going to happen? I was going to get another job, and I was going to get fired again.
Why? Why do you think that?
Until you really get the message, right? You're going to go through that same thing, and it might be worse than the next
what's that
time.
message?
It's it may be different for
you,
for everyone. For me, it was you need to be an entrepreneur. You need to bet on yourself, right? Because if you don't, because you got tangible things, right? And like I said, I was working on these things while I was at the job, right? And they were the reason why I got fired, right? So I knew
the reason why you got fired because you wanted to do entrepreneurial.
Because I was doing my thing. I was growing my business, right?
Right.
But I was still loyal to the company. So now they're saying that it's a conflict of interest. Okay, cool. Conflict of interest. I got you. I understand that. So now I seen where I had, build out a lot of relationships, right? To where I can really do this, man. I can do this. And when I looked in the mirror at myself and told myself, hey, you got it. You got it. It ain't no doubt about it. Go ahead and do your thing. You may struggle once again, right? But I've been through that struggle. So I know how to embrace that struggle, right? And I know all the lessons, right? It's gonna be lessons. All of those lessons I need to learn. I need to know. I need to go through it in order to be successful, in order to be the best individual that I can be in the realm or the field that I work in, right?
The thing about Still Not Successful show is we speak about the inevitable challenges of life. The challenges are inevitable.
Right.
We're going to face it. They're going to come.
No doubt.
And the preparation for those challenges, I feel as though we tend to lack.
Okay.
We prepare for everyone. We start a business,
right,
and we start a vision,
right,
we prepare for everything that's positive.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
We talk about the return on investment.
Yeah.
It's going to the impact, the followers.
We looking at them
you know what I mean? We do all of those things, but
right,
don't prepare for the inevitable challenges of life.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So when I'm hearing about you embracing that struggle, when you had to prepare for when you were in the challenges, the inevitable challenges of life,
right,
what tools did you use for yourself to stay empowered and persevere?
Man, I just believed in myself. I knew that, first of all, I knew that I was doing something positive, right? And that was the main thing for me. And when I said, okay, am I doing something positive? That was my whole thing. As long as I'm doing something positive, I don't care how much money I make. That's not the case. Am I adding to society in a positive way, right? Whether it's one person or 100 people, right? Did I touch them in a positive way? Did I lead them in the right direction? Did I help them become a better person? Did I help them grow in ways they probably wouldn't get from their mom or dad, right? That's my whole thing, man. What am I adding to the society, man? And I want to leave a legacy. I think everybody want to leave a legacy. So you the writer of your script, man. So what it's gonna be, right? And every day, it's another page. It's another page.
I want to spread love and positivity to all communities at this point. All love, positivity to all communities. But a specific question, or the specific topic that we're about to touch on is specifically for the Black community.
Okay.
And when I look at the Black community, I'm looking at those coaches out there, those educators. Let's talk about the coaches.
Okay. Shout out to all the coaches out there.
So, because when you say volunteers, people don't understand. Like, they just think that, okay, you volunteer to pick up some trash or clean up a situation. Coaches but nobody's yelling at the people picking up the trash. Nobody's yelling at the people that's painting the walls. Right? Nobody's, the parents not saying you, why, The coaches are also volunteers.
Right, exactly.
Right? So there are a lot of community activists that are volunteering services.
Right.
What do you say to them to stay empowered, to make a difference? Because it's an uphill battle, and we're fighting a fight that we didn't create. So it's not a normal parallel. I'm a normal entrepreneur, and I'm going to go out here, I'm going to package these products, and now my only challenge is to sell the products. When you go into community and nonprofit and things that you're doing where it's purpose-driven, it's how do I make the change? And then make my return on investment too. Right? So with that being said, those people that out there struggling because they are so purpose-driven and they want to make the change, that's the only thing that refills their spirit and their soul. What do you say to them going through their challenges?
The challenges are inevitable, right? But if this is what you love to do, you're gonna embrace it. You're gonna embrace it because people are watching. The kids are watching every little thing that you're doing. The kids are watching, right? So what if you win this position, and you know what this position entails? What are you saying? When you want to give up. It's okay to give up. It's okay to lay down. You know, so no matter what it is, just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep serving because that's your purpose. It's your purpose. It's in you. It's innate, right? I think a lot of these volunteers, you know, that's what they love to do. Time is the most valuable thing that we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when people are giving their time for not a dime, when people are giving their time for not a dime, it means a lot. It
Mm-hmm.
means a lot to them, and it shows a lot about their character and who they are and what they're trying to do out here. You know, because it's a positive thing, man. It's big. It's bigger than just volunteering their time. It's actually, you know, you actually cultivate, you know, people, and you actually helping society, you know, with whatever you're a part of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what I'll say to them is just, you know, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. You are appreciated. You are appreciated. It's a lot of mentors that I had, right? It's a lot of community volunteers that I had, right? They taught me a lot that I still, you know, hold to value today. So know that you appreciate it. And if you touching one kid, one person, right? Know that you made a difference. Know that you made a difference. So it doesn't matter how. It's not about how many people that you touch or lives that you affect. It's about, you know, what are you doing to affect their lives in a positive way. So if you're able to connect with someone, I don't care if they young or old, right? You know, that's huge. That's major, right? Because a lot of people don't even allow people to get into, you know, their life,
Mm-hmm.
they day to day. You know, a lot of people are internal now. You know, so if someone is actually taking the time out to tell you what's going on with them, and you're helping them through whatever they're going through, man, you appreciate it.
Tone,
Yes, sir.
my brother.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate you for coming on the show.
Yes, sir.
Still not successful.
Mm-hmm.
My last question to you is, as it relates to the title, still not successful.
Right.
Do you feel as though you're successful?
That's a good one. I never really, you know, looked at my success, and just asked myself, you know, am I successful? But of course. Um, First of all, I was able to, you know, get out of the rat race, man.
Mm.
You know, however it happened, I was able to get out of it, right? And I'm never going back. It's not happening. Never going back. But to speak on the question, yes, because, you know, I was able to start, you know, 2 different companies,
Mm-hmm.
right? I was able to start my entrepreneur, right, journey, right? And that's success. That there's success in that.
Mm.
At those little moments, right? And appreciate those moments because they're success moments. They might not be on the scale as somebody else's, right? But this is your success. This is your success. Whatever level it may be, there's some success, you know, in that, right? And so I'm truly blessed, man. I'm truly blessed. And yes, man, it's success in everything that you do.
Man,
You know.
salute to that answer. Literally, bro, my book is titled Still Not Successful. And in my book, you literally hit it on the note. I call them success moments. And what I spoke about was, if you don't appreciate the success moments, then you're only zeroed in on the vision, which means you lack gratitude. And when you lack gratitude, it opens up that space for discouragement and doubt and frustration of the current phase that you're in throughout your journey. You feel what I'm saying? And appreciating those success moments does the opposite. Right. It empowers you, it motivates you. Like, hey, I'm gonna get this wine. I started this company. I don't care if it's just an LLC that came through the email. Right. That's a success moment. That's success. You feel what I'm saying? That's success. Let's keep it moving. Nobody, I don't know too many people got this LLC, but I got the LLC moment. Right. Let's move to the next phase. Right. And then the next phase is another success moment. So I appreciate that answer, my brother. Exactly. Tell the people where they can find you at. Y'all can find me at IG. I am Tony Kemp 1. That's I am Tony Kemp 1. Facebook as well, Tony Kemp. And that's where you can find me. You can search. You can find
the Cool Motivation gear at coolmotivationnation.com. That's coolmotivationnation.com. You know, another tidbit, continue to spread love, continue to spread positivity, man. You know, that's what we got. Yep.
And that's the wrap up of this episode of Still Not Successful. The journey is unpredictable. Stay empowered. Love y'all.